The question is, should customers be tipping $1 per mile? Well, I came across this TikTok video of another driver who says customers should be tipping $1 per mile. Now, of course, this is a very touchy topic when it comes to tipping. Some of you guys may agree with what she has to say. Some may disagree, but here's the video.
So a good rule of thumb when tipping your food delivery drivers, to me, is at least $1 per mile from your house to wherever you're ordering from. Obviously, if they're not right there at the restaurant, it's going to be more miles for them, but that's really not much of your concern. So if you're like yesterday, when I did a 12-mile drive from the restaurant to the house and then I got a $2 tip, that to me is just ridiculous. So in my mind, if you know I'm driving 12 miles from the restaurant to your house, it should be at least a $12 tip. So that's kind of the rule of thumb. Obviously, if the weather is really bad or you're ordering a lot of food, especially drinks, because drinks can be really annoying to carry, maybe add more, but at least $1 per mile from your house to wherever you're ordering from.
So what do you guys think of her suggesting that customers should be tipping $1 per mile? If you're a customer, do let me know your thoughts on this as well. Now, of course, a lot of people left comments on this video. Here's a few of them. One person said, mileage is not of my concern. Tip is based on cost of order for me, which I feel like a lot of people do tip based on the cost of their order. Another person said, I stopped using Uber after the lockdown because how is my meal $10 and my tip $12? Which I can see where this customer is coming from. It really adds up when ordering on the apps. It's more of like a luxury service when you don't feel like cooking or you don't want to leave the house and go pick up the food. Another person said, I always tip per mile $5 minimum, even if it's less than a mile away. Which for me, I feel like I see a lot of customers, at least from the offers that I accept, tip around $5 for an order a few miles from their house, which I feel is thoughtful on the customer's part. Now, as us drivers know, sometimes there's a wait at the restaurant for the customer's order, and we're also having to use our own car, put gas in our own car to deliver the customer's order. So a $5 minimum is very thoughtful. Now, of course, there was a ton more comments. If you'd like to check out the video on TikTok, I will leave the link down below. Now, when it comes to tipping $1 per mile, I don't necessarily agree with this because some orders are a mile, give or take. And in some cases, you're having to wait at the restaurant for the order. And then after you get the order, you're having to drive it over to the customer's home or apartment in your own car using your own gas. And sometimes the home or apartment is not easy to find. And with base pay being around $2, I wouldn't want to deliver this order just for a couple of dollars. It just wouldn't be worth it for me. But what I can agree with is when it's long distance or the weather is bad, for the customer to keep this in mind when tipping, because the driver is the one that's having to travel in bad weather or travel long distance to bring the order to the customer. And sometimes the driver can't get an order to bring them back to where they came from. So then the order would end up being double the mileage for the driver, which could end up being a loss. Now, I've also had comments in the past from customers saying that they tip after delivery. And in my earlier days, I experimented with taking no tip offers. And when doing this, I learned real quick that there was no tip added later. I'm sure in some cases there are customers who do, but from my experience, most customers do not. I've even had notes left that they would tip in person, and when I got to the drop off of the destination, there was no tip, which of course is disappointing for myself or any driver that's seen a note saying that they're going to leave a tip or I'll have a tip waiting for you and there's no tip. It's super disappointing. So for me, I accept the offer based on what I see and evaluate whether it's worth my time or not. Now, one change that would be nice to see to help offset the burden of tipping on the customer would be upping the base pay. I'm sure many of you guys will agree with this. As I mentioned earlier, it's around $2. Now, do you guys ever think that we'll see a time where the base pay is increased? I don't know if we ever will. It would be nice if it did get increased, but I feel that Uber and the other gig companies know that there are drivers out there that will take most offers that they come across. And a lot of new drivers think that they have to take every offer because they're afraid of being deactivated, which is completely not true, or I would have been deactivated a very long time ago. And the other thing is, with the gig apps, there are new drivers coming on every day taking these offers. So why would Uber or any of the other apps increase the base pay when they don't have to? Now, when it comes to tipping, this is what Uber says on their website for the question, do I have to tip? Uber says tipping is optional. You are free to add a tip and drivers are free to accept tips. Do you guys think that Uber should call the word tip something else, like bid for service, or charge a driver's service fee where it goes 100% to the driver? And if the customer is happy with their service, they can add a tip after delivery. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this. Again, the subject about tipping is a very touchy subject, but regardless, all drivers have the choice on what offers they accept. You don't have to accept a low paying or backwards offer like this one for $12.68 for 23.6 miles. This is just too far out for $12.68. You have to accept offers that make sense for you, that will help you meet your goals when you come out here and deliver. Again, let me know your guys' thoughts on all of this. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll be seeing you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.